Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. My name is Monica Burns, and I am so glad that you're here to join me today. If you want to make the most of education technology, aka EdTech, well, you are in the right place. My goal has always been to help make EdTech easier and give you ideas you can try yourself, share with a colleague, or bookmark for later in the school year. Every Tuesday here on the Easy EdTech Podcast, you'll hear stories from my time in the classroom, the work I do now with schools and districts, and my travels to different EdTech events. Get ready for solo episodes where I share some quick tips and stories, and interviews full of practical ideas and stories from new guests each month. If we mention something you'd like to check out, make sure to click the link. You'll find it in the episode description or the summary area where you're listening to this podcast, or you can find every episode and all of the resources we mention by going to classtechtips.com/podcast, or by going to classtechtips.com and just clicking on the Easy EdTech Podcast button at the top of the page. Today's episode is sponsored by my new free quiz, Unlock the Best Way to Use Chatbots in Your Teaching. This quick 5-question quiz will help you figure out the best way to use AI this school year. Find out if AI can support your instructional planning and help you tackle your to-do list. Everyone who takes the quiz will also get a free ebook. Head to classtechtips.com/quiz to find my new quiz. Unlock the best way to use chatbots in your teaching. That's classtechtips.com/quiz. This week's episode is titled Make Classroom Decorations with the Help of AI. Now, AI can save teachers' times in a lot of different ways. And today our focus is in making classroom decorations. Now, I've shared a lot about AI over the past 2 years. It's been a super popular topic. And if you join me for a workshop or webinar, you know that I love to explore different prompts, different strategies, different use cases for AI. Now, when this episode goes live, I'll have just returned home from the FETC conference in Orlando. I'm recording this early in January, and so the FETC conference is coming up, but it'll have passed when this goes live. So if I met you there, so glad you're here listening along on the podcast. But if you didn't make the FETC conference, I did a couple presentations around the topic of AI. And you can go to classtechtips.com/FETC, and then you can request all the resources from the session. So just wanted to mention that since this is an AI-themed episode, FETC is on the mind. It will have just passed when this goes live. And I always want to make sure you get resources from the sessions. I'll post it up on Instagram too this week, the week that this episode goes live. And you can always send me a message if you can't find that link. It's just my website /FETC. So we usually think of AI as working behind the scenes. You know, we're opening up a chatbot on our device. We might ask for some help or some ideas. It doesn't seem so tangible, right? It's not quite something we're interacting with in a physical space like the same way we might with a classroom decoration. But if you want to create some classroom decorations throughout the year, there are AI-powered tools, chatbots, image generators that can help you gather ideas and save oodles of times. So in today's episode, I'm going to go through a few tips and strategies for how you can use AI to create engaging classroom decorations. Let's dive in. With the help of AI, you can quickly generate ideas, refine those ideas to match your vision and goals. And you can even use a chatbot as a collaborator to bring your own ideas or your starter ideas to life. From designing posters to creating custom welcome signs, AI tools can help you tackle a variety of tasks. You can create unique, totally personalized classroom decor. And today we'll jump into a handful of these ideas. Now, you can make the ideas in this podcast episode your own, of course, and add some extra information to any of the prompts that I share. And I'll link out to a blog post that has some of these prompts in it too in the show notes. So that way, if you're on the move today and you're like listening to this while you are, doing a couple other things, you can go back there. So you can craft prompts that also include some of your favorite things, some of your custom, things that are important for your classroom decorations. You might add to some of these ideas. We love to add QR codes to our bulletin boards, and my students have access to iPads, right? Or something that you add on to a prompt to give it a little more context for what you're hoping to accomplish. So let's get into some specific ways you can use AI to create your own classroom decorations. The first step is to create a welcome sign. You can use Adobe Firefly to design a welcome sign that captures the essence of your classroom. I'm a big fan of the Adobe tools. I've done some work with the Adobe education team. When this episode goes live, I'm actually leading a Creativity Institute the same week for them in New York City. So I love their AI tools, and the text creation feature. You would scroll down a bit on the Adobe Firefly landing page to access it, lets you describe the kind of text you want to use. So you can create a sign that says welcome with apples as part of the text, or yellow pencils in the background. One thing to note that this can be really fun, but you want to make sure to choose some high contrast colors so it's not hard for someone to read. You want to make sure it's really accessible to your students. So first up is creating that welcome sign. AI can also help you make reminder posters. If you make posters in your classroom already to remind students of procedures and expectations, you might use an AI tool that helps generate images. Canva's Magic Media is one, ImageFX from Google is another. Or you might stick with Adobe Firefly for their text-to-image too. You can turn those images you make into vibrant, really colorful posters to decorate your wall. So for example, you might make a poster to remind students to wash their hands and post it near the sink of a classroom. But instead of a clip art or a picture of a sink, you can create a custom image, like having your school mascot washing their hands, and use that for the poster. Where I live, our school district's mascot is a cougar, so you might have a cougar washing its paws over a sink, right, as a way to create a compelling reminder poster. Now, you might also make a musical bulletin board with the help of AI. That's next up on our list. On the blog earlier this year, I shared some AI music tools that I love. I'll link out to that for you also. And for this one, I'm just going to spotlight Music FX, which lets you create a short piece of music using a text prompt. So this tool lets you download the file or share it as a link. And since you can save the link, you can take that one more step and turn it into a QR code. And having a QR code gives you oodles of options for classroom decorations. So you're using AI to create the music, maybe using a tool like Music FX or Suno is another one. You have that short piece of music. You can save the link and turn it into a QR code, and it's a great way to add to a bulletin board, really make a take a techie spin on your classroom decorations with the help of AI. So first up on our list was creating a welcome sign, then using AI to make reminder posters, maybe putting your school mascot in there, and then making music, attaching it to a QR code and adding it to your bulletin board. So last but definitely not least is asking a chatbot for classroom decoration ideas. So this month, January, I was with a school district, a group in Colorado. It was actually my third time flying out to work with them this school year. And we were looking at different ways to use AI frameworks, different types of prompts, right? There's all different ways to kind of interact with a chatbot. But when in doubt, you can keep it really simple and you can head over to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, DuckDuckGo, Copilot, and you can gather some ideas that are really specific to your group and your needs. So it can act as a collaborator or a thought partner, whether you're starting from scratch or you have an idea and you just want to refine it a little bit. So how might this work? Well, you can start with a simple prompt like our upcoming unit of study is, you put the topic in, give me ideas for classroom decorations. That's it, right? And so that might give you something to work with, or the chatbot might give you some ideas and you like number 4 on their list and you say, tell me more about this, or how would this work, right? And you ask some questions to help you bring that idea to life. Of course, you can get even more specific in your initial prompt or maybe your follow-up prompt and say something like, we have this much bulletin board space, or I want classroom decorations that I can hang in the corner of my classroom, right? So this is a way for you to think about your kind of wish list or what you would love to do, but maybe you're not sure where to start or you need to focus a bit more on it, and a chatbot can really help you narrow down ideas. So gathering some ideas and creating resources for your classroom decorations might not seem like an obvious way to use AI this school year, but if you're incorporating AI into your classroom in other ways, you might also see if it can help out with any decorations that you're working on, something seasonal, something that spotlights student work, or maybe something that will just engage kids in interacting with their learning environment. So I've shared a handful of ideas here and given a shout out to some AI-powered tools. I'll make sure to put all of those in the show notes. And if you're exploring AI with more of a curriculum connection, you might want to check out the new edition, the second edition of my book, EdTech Essentials. That's got some more creativity pieces, some more assessment components that go a bit beyond classroom decorations. But of course, I think this is a nice, fun way to use AI in your classroom too. So let's make this EdTech easy with a few key points from today's episode. Use AI tools to design creative welcome signs for your classroom. Generate reminder posters with AI and customize them for students. Create musical bulletin boards using AI-generated music and QR codes. Leverage chatbots to brainstorm and develop classroom decoration ideas. Remember, you can find the show notes and full list of resources from today's episode by heading to classtechtips.com/podcast and finding today's episode number 303. Today's episode is sponsored by my new free quiz, Unlock the Best Way to Use Chatbots in Your Teaching. This quick 5-question quiz will help you figure out the best way to use AI this school year. Find out if AI can support your instructional planning and help you tackle your to-do list. Everyone who takes the quiz will also get a free ebook. Head to classtechtips.com/quiz to find my new quiz. Unlock the best way to use chatbots in your teaching. That's classtechtips.com/quiz. Thank you for listening to this new episode of the Easy EdTech podcast. I love creating new episodes for you each week, but I could use a bit of help spreading the word about the podcast. Can you leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app? Spotify will let you tap on the stars, and Apple Podcasts will let you tap on the stars and leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. Thank you so much for taking this extra step. It helps other educators find episodes like this one when they're searching for EdTech tips.